Because while having a right attitude about judgment is essential, here's the problem. We live in the real world where people are going to do very wrong things. Mercy is not typically people's first response. And so what do we do? What do we do when we see people doing wrong and injustice all around us? What do we do if someone is living unrighteousness? Here's the thing. Don't we want to tell them the truth? How do we strike a balance between not judging those around us and then wanting to help others live righteously? Not judging sounds great until my neighbor is really being unrighteous in ways that are damaging himself and others. And it's painful to watch. So what do I do in those circumstances? Okay, but here's the thing is we don't let evil just carry on. And here's the difference between what Jesus is asking us to do versus what we do. What Jesus is saying is, realistically, the way that we're using judgment here, we should never judge. Ever. I want to be absolutely clear on that. Because the way that the world uses the word judge, like, hey, you should not be condemning me, we should never condemn anyone. You know why? We're not God. That's his job. What is our job? Our job is to offer correction. God is the one who condemns and judges, not us. What we do is correction. And the reason I'm using that language is because very specifically, if you'll notice, the goal of our text is to get the splinter out of their eye. Right? Like that's what we want. The goal isn't to condemn the person, but to remove the splinter. Like that's what the goal of this text is. We want them to be acting differently, not live in condemnation, but freedom from a splinter in their eye. And so what do we do when we live in a world of unrighteousness is we want to correct them. But how? How do we go about correcting them? Well, Jesus is very clear on this point, how we correct an unrighteous life of another. If you look back at verse 3, why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when there is a log in your own eye? You hypocrite. First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. The emphasis of the text is not hard. Jesus is not confusing us. Correction should happen, and that correction should always start with oneself. Always. You cannot correct anyone if you have not reflected on your sin first. The metaphor is a famous one, and the purpose of it is to be idiotic. It is supposed to be so full of sarcasm that it's just like, what kind of fool would try to pull a speck, a little splinter out of someone's eye while there is an entire log in their own eye? And the problem is, who would do such a thing?